The following content may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. In other words, there could be some bad language, yo!
Hi, and thanks for taking time out to check out this vlog. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris from Trip Paranormal. For those of you who do know me, I'm a huge pain in the ass, but I'm still Chris. Today's vlog is going to be about one of my friends, Amelia. Am I saying your name right, Amelia? I'm sorry. I just know you by the person I harass on Twitter. But I had mentioned that I was going back to do an investigation at the Othello Tunnels, and she had asked about some of the activity there. So I said I'd do a video vlog to describe that. So Amelia, this one's for you. And before I continue, I of course want to give my customary shout outs. One to a friend of mine. I'm looking on my Twitter to remember the paranormal group she's from. Hold on. Come on, we're almost there. Yes. Tina Fleming from the Visual Paranormal team. And also another friend of mine, Sabrina Fox, who's a really great girl. Thank you to both you ladies for giving me positive words of encouragement this morning. And also I'd like to give a shout out to my brother from another mother from the other side of Canada. I'm going to try and speak his language, so forgive me because this is going to sound really bad because I have to think back to high school. But Denis, bonjour mon frère, comment ça va? Je parle un petit français. So Danny, that one's for you, brother. Anyway, continuing on, and forgive me this morning because it's been a rough day already and I haven't had enough of my coffee, but you know, extra large going on here. So the activity at the tunnels. I'm going to try and make this quick. I filmed this a couple of days ago, but I just yapped for way too long, so bear with me. I'm going to try and make this a bit shorter. Yeah, right. The Othello Tunnels, a quick history of the tunnels. Back in the early 1900s, the tunnels were located in an area known as the Fraser Canyon. And there's a railway that went around the canyon, and the rail companies were trying to decide a way to make it quicker and easier to get down to this area where I live in the Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley. And so they said that they wanted to try and blast through the mountain to make a railway. Engineers said it couldn't be done until one engineer, Andrew McCullough, came through and he said, "Oh, I can do it." And they did it. The railroad was constructed, I believe it's in 1915. It was completed, called the Kettle Valley Railway. And Mr. McCullough was a huge fan of Shakespeare, so hence why there's different stops along the rail. The Othello Tunnels being one of those stops. Othello being named after a Shakespearean character or play. My country ass ain't really cultured, so I can't really remember off the top of my head, but. Anyway, the unfortunate problem with that area, because of the mountainous area and winter conditions, etc., the railway, I believe it was officially closed down in 1959, 1960 something, and it was eventually opened up as a park in the early 80s. And for any of you who have seen the movie Rambo First Blood, it was actually filmed entirely at the Othello Tunnels. So if you're ever watching that movie, that's part of the areas where I go and investigate. As for some of the activity I've encountered there, I've seen shadow people. I've seen full body apparitions, which I swore was an actual person. Heard voices in the tunnels and along the trail that leads past the tunnels. I've been pushed. And the main activity, which actually keeps me coming there over and over again, like, not only is it the paranormal activity that happens there, but it's an outdoor location, a beautiful area. For those of you who have ever seen any of the pictures that I've posted from the Othello Tunnels, it's just gorgeous there. But what draws me there, what gives me that strong connection there, is the fact that there was, well, I don't want to say an incident, but I encountered an area that had a lot of paranormal activity, and I don't know how to describe it properly, but I'll just go into the story. So I'm going to keep on yapping here. It looks like we're still under 5 minutes-ish. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the timer while I'm filming. Like I said, I'm tired. Be nice. So when I first went there was in July of 2010. Originally I went there because the paranormal group that I started out with, we were going to do a meet and greet there. People who were interested in the paranormal. It was a daytime thing. We weren't going to do any investigating, but just talk and walk around the tunnels and see if anything happened. But of course, they were all supremely prima donnas, glory hogs. They were definitely not about para-unity. And because the president and one of the third or fourth in command, however you want to put it, those two people couldn't be there, so they decided if they couldn't claim the fame, nobody could. And they canceled it. I went, screw that, I'm still going there. I went there with my son just to appreciate the outdoors, not to investigate. It did feel different for me there, so what I did was a week later I was with a date, I guess you could say, and we had talked about going for a hike somewhere, and she said she was into paranormal activity, and so I mentioned the tunnels, so we went there. Now, the area that we ran across, after the tunnels, the last tunnel ends, the trail still goes on, and connects to a kind of a side trail called the Hope Nicola Valley Trail. Well, we were walking, we came across that area, and we wanted to go have a smoke, but because there was not the people, it was the kids around, we went up the trail just to get away from everybody, and we sat in that area. But as we sat there was this feeling of, like, you could tell somebody did not want us there, we weren't welcomed. It was a feeling of fear, of dread, and it came on quite strong, and I couldn't even look at my friend as she was talking, because I was looking around the area, like, it just didn't sit right with me. And eventually she turned around to me and said, "Can we go? I feel really scared here. I don't feel welcome. We need to leave." So we left. I came back a week later on my own, and I tried to recreate the same thing. I went up there, had another smoke, and tried to recreate that same feeling just to see what it was. And that feeling of fear of not being welcomed. I'm almost stepping on my dog here who's laying beside me. Optimus, come here. Come say hi since I just gave you a mention. There you go. See? You're famous. 2 people on the internet have seen you now. Anyway, sorry. So I went there on my own. That same feeling of fear of not being welcomed was there. But me, sometimes I'm not necessarily the brightest guy, and I provoked. Essentially, in my own words, I shit-talked the mean spirit. And as I was shit-talking, I told it, you may be able to scare me, but you can't hurt me. Do your worst, be a man. And that feeling of fear of something trying to intimidate me slowly started to go away. It was like when you confront a bully, and the bullies back down, because they know that they don't have a chance in hell of scaring you when you stand up to them. So, but as I was there, I got this feeling like there was a little girl there, and I've never considered myself to be a medium, psychic, sensitive, anything like that. But I was really animate about how I felt that there was a little girl there, and this mean spirit, pain in the ass dog. Yeah, I love you too. That this spirit, the mean spirit, had hurt this little girl. So I started talking as if this little girl was there, and I told her, "You're a dumbass." No, I talking to my dog about dumbass. Didn't say that to the girl spirit. So anyway, I told the girl that, she was safe, that man could no longer harm her, and that she could be happy that I was her friend, and that I'd come back and visit her whenever I could. Now, we started to leave, go back down the trail. About 15-20 minutes later, a friend of mine who I was with, she didn't come up to me. Her and her son didn't come up to that area where I did the little EVB session, if you will. But they came, when we left, they brought a camera, and they took a picture of me, and my video editing skills are crap, alright? If I have to read instructions, it's not happening. But I'm going to try and post a picture as I'm talking of the incident I'm referring to, with this picture being taken. When my friend got home and uploaded her camera, she called me and sent this picture to me, and you can see that there's a little girl running up to me in this picture. It looks blurry at first, but when you zoom in, you can see her face. It looks like she's wearing a dress. It looks like a young girl, possibly Native or Asian, which would make sense for the area because before the tunnels were made, that area was inhabited by Natives. It's also close to Hell's Gate Atrium, and for anybody who's seen Ghost Hunters International who's been there, the Othello Tunnels is quite close to Hell's Gate. And by the way, GHI, why didn't you go and investigate Othello? That had way more activity than Hell's Gate. Anyway, that's another story. Yeah, like any of the GHI guys are gonna watch this shit. But anyway, so yeah, this little girl, was running up to me. Now, the reason why I say Asian could explain things too is because when the tunnels were created, it was back in the time of where the war was starting, so there was some labor camps, if you will, that were set up in North America, and there was a lot of Asian migrant workers who helped construct the tunnels. So either way, it just gave me such an experience. Such a feeling of, oh my god, like I don't think I've ever felt that way, like an emotional connection. Whenever I go to that area, there's a certain song I play for the girl. I don't know why, but the song Johanna by Bobby Mackey, I've sat there and played that for her. I've got this, I didn't bring it with me, but I've got this little stuffed pink little teddy bear thing that I bring with me for her to play with when I go. I don't know if she still inhabits that area or not. I know that Mean Spirit does, because any of you who have watched my EVP videos, there's a video entitled Same Entity, where I've heard the word kick and I've been called a dick, and I'm pretty sure that's by that Mean Spirit. Yes, Optimus, come on, my dog's a camera hog. Optimus, look, yeah, I know, you just be good. So yeah, anyway, so that has brought me, that as quick as I can with the way I babble on is the explanation of some of the experiences there, the activity there. Going there again 1 week from today, on Saturday, April 13th. So I'm hoping to get some good results, to see what kind of connections I can make, and it truly is like a second home for me. So whenever I get to go there, I get really excited, and like right now I'm like just anticipating. I want the week to go by. I want it to be next weekend so I can go there and investigate. Very cool place. So yeah, that's about it in a nutshell. So Amelia, I hope that was a good enough explanation for you, and for anybody else who's taken the time to check this out. I'm always bad with doing evidence review right away after I go investigate. But I'm going to do, after I do the investigation, I'm going to do a quick vlog just saying, hey, this is how it went before I do evidence reviews. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it, and yeah, so that's about it. So for all you who've watched this, thanks for taking the time out to watch me yap and be a long-winded whatever. Keep on watching the videos. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Trip Paranormal 71. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Trip Paranormal 71. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter, once again, if you haven't already, at Trip_Paranormal, and all those usernames will be around here. They're going to be somewhere in the vicinity of the camera. So, I hope everybody has a good day. Thanks for the continued support, and stay spooky, my friends.